And we're live. This is Omi's production studio coming at you again. We were on earlier today, and my guest was not able to come on board because of a little technical difficulty. But I'd like to go back and regroup over what the discussion was all about. A lot of you may have seen the recording earlier without the other guests being able to speak. So I want to just let you in on what we were talking about today. And this topic is how to create your own banking system. Now, most of you might be very much familiar with 401ks, your investment stock, but I want to bring something home to our African American families out there who don't seem that they can get ahead on even when the companies are matching your 401k, and don't seem that you can have enough money after you file your taxes. Now, I'm not speaking from firsthand on the topic of starting your own banks because I have not set mine up yet, but I have been in conference with an organization that I am going to select to be my agency of choice. And I have done quite a bit of research about it. And you know me, whenever I come to you, I like to come to you with some kind of statistics or some research. So in the last couple of months, I've been doing some research, gathering some information on the various different companies that are doing this. Now, I will say, when I speak of insurance, I'm speaking of whole life policies that are structured. Some people use whole life policies and also use the cash value in the whole life policy. What I'm talking about is a structured whole life policy. And when I say structured, it has to be structured in a way that you are actually buying into the corporation where you own the bank. So at the end of the year, after you have made your donations and have made contributions once a year, you're entitled to some dividends. And what do I mean by that? Because you are in ownership with this particular agency, when the dividends are paid out, which some companies are selected for paying out dividends consistently for over 100 years. So that means that they have a consistent track record. And more than likely, they're going to pay out to you as well, since you have bought in to this corporation. You have made your contributions once a month, and you consistently invested at about a 4% interest, meaning that at the end of the year, you can expect a certain amount of money. Let's use a hypothetical situation. You're putting in $417 a month for 12 months. Then at the end of the year, you want to recoup that money back. You've earned yourself dividends, and they're paying dividends to the tune on that amount of money of about $3,000, and you actually saved over $5,000 with putting at least $417 in per month. Now, you don't want to go to the bank so soon as you put the money in, but you definitely want to go and look at how your money is growing. After 17 days, you can make a withdrawal on that interest that you are accumulating. Now, I don't think there's any banks out there giving 4% interest. Now, the way that I was explained is that you can take all of your debt, all of your bills that you're paying. Instead of paying on that credit card, you may want to take that same amount of money that you're paying on that credit card and invest it in your whole life. And once you invest it in your whole life, then you can borrow the money from your whole life policy to pay off that credit card. So now that money that you were paying for that credit card is going into your whole life structure plan at about a 4% interest. Now you are doubling your money. And you must remember, if you decide to go out and purchase a vehicle. After your money has become seasoned, of course, after you may have had it in there for over a year, now you want to go purchase a car. You don't want to just put money down on it, and you don't want to borrow a loan from the car dealer. You want to go pay cash for that car after you've withdrawn the money out of your whole life structure plan. So you take your money in and you pay cash for it. And guess what? You pay that loan back to your structured whole life by setting up a payment plan to pay it back. But in the meantime, your money is working harder for you, because if you are paying that money back, you would have paid it back at a lower interest rate, and your money becomes compounded. So technically, what you have done is you've taken money out of the account, and it looks like you've never borrowed any money out of your account because of the interest being paid back to you. Now, then you have made your money work harder for you, and it's not like you're driving off the lot and your car is depreciating. Your car is an asset now rather than a deficit. Do you understand what I mean? Are you getting the drift now? Now, who wouldn't want to take their money to the bank and earn 4%? I don't know any banks that are paying you 4% interest on your money. Do you? Now, there's a whole lot of rich people that are buying into these whole life structured policies. Now, some of them, from what I understand, some of them even use the regular whole life policies that pay cash back. Now, you must remember you have a death policy in this particular whole life. It also is being used for an insurance policy in case a loved one should expire. You can take the money out to pay for the funeral without your loved ones being taxed or penalized for taking out the money for a death purpose. Now, that alone is beneficial because you're using it as a death policy as well as a savings. And you're buying all of your major purchases with this money in this whole life policy. You're paying for your car. You could even pay for your house note. You could even make investments with it. And you can buy property with it. So what I had attempted to do was invite a gentleman on to talk to my audience about the benefit of having this whole life structure plan. Now, we were going to be on Facebook, and for some reason, Facebook was running rather slow, and I did go on Facebook, but he was not able to come on because Facebook never could put me on live. Now, once again, I'm speaking to the African American families out there who are parents and want to start with their children early. A lot of times we get these big returns on our taxes, and we don't know what to do with it. We said, what shall I buy next? Well, I bought that computer system last time, and I bought a remote control car the other year. And you're thinking of things to spend your money on. Well, I'm going to tell you, don't spend your money on anything until you've had a chance to talk to somebody about structuring yourself a whole life policy. And by getting rid of all those term insurance and getting rid of all those universal life, whole lives, and looking at a structured whole life policy. Now, you might want to keep some of your terms, I don't know. But this way, you're setting up a bank with your structured whole life policies where you're getting a 4% interest, and you don't have to go and ask for a loan from anyone else. You can borrow from yourself. Of course, you know when you borrow from yourself, you've got to pay the money back. I think that I caught on to this when I realized that you could go to any credit union and put up a secured loan and borrow from yourself at a lower interest rate. If you have that money to purchase that car, it would be much smarter. Instead of getting a 12 to 25% interest from any loan officer out there, you can go and borrow that money from yourself at a lower interest rate. And once you paid it back, it reaccumulates in your account so you can make another purchase on something. And I had been doing this for many years and didn't realize that I was creating a banking system. As a matter of fact, I taught my son that he should borrow from his own account and pay the money back. And since he didn't have it, and I did, I allowed him to borrow from me. I became the banker. And you can do that. You can be like a loan shark if you want to. Let someone borrow from you at a lower interest rate. And guess what? If it's on a 36 to 40 to 50 month basis, then after the 46 or 50 months, you're going to get that money back with interest. So you've increased your bank. So when we learn how to do this, it helps us to come together as a family and put that money together. And when we need a major loan, we can go in and borrow from our family bank. Or you can borrow from your own individual bank if you don't trust your loved ones. But the main thing is to set it up, get it started, consistently make the deposit on a regular monthly basis, and watch your money grow. And at the end of the year, collect your dividends. How are you going to collect dividends? Because you're now the owner. You have membership in that bank. You have invested your money in that bank, and now you're entitled to some dividends. How do you like those ducats? Pretty smart, I would say. So we got to get smarter. This is what the rich folks do. Don't get mad at me. This is how they grow their estate. They buy many whole life structured policies, and they pay into them religiously. And once it starts compounding in money and growing, then they are making money off of their money. They're making their money work hard for them, and it's growing the bank. It takes a concept like this for you to sit down to a workshop. So why not attend one of our workshops where we're going to be busy bringing in experts who write policies for structured whole life infinity policies all the time. I am not the expert. I am just dabbling into this because I know it's a great way for seniors like myself to reinvest in themselves, to give themselves an annuity of a stream of income when they're no longer working. Now, a number of you out there may be working hard every day, but I'm speaking to some seniors out there who are no longer in the workforce. And for you young people, it is best that you start early, because you wouldn't have to cry the blues about borrowing money. You wouldn't have to borrow any money from anyone. You wouldn't even have to have credit cards, because you can pay them off. Pay them off without accumulating the interest, and then purchasing anything you want with cash. That's what we have to get used to, because when you take the money out of your account and you agree to pay it back, you can skip a few months in paying it back, but where can you go and borrow money on a loan and skip some payments without them coming to get your car and repossession? Nowhere. But on this bank session, you can borrow from yourself and take a cruise and vow to pay back the next 2 months and still not be in trouble. This is a fantastic way of getting over the grain house. It's a fantastic way of understanding how to grow your money. Take your children. Buy a whole life structure plan for your children, especially if you're trying to build money for their graduation. Those policies that you buy for your children, they're a whole life policy, they develop cash value also, but they're not structured the same way as a structured plan is. They'll get you back a few dollars after you've had the policy for over a year, but they're nothing like a structured policy. That is completely different. So don't get it confused with the whole life policy. Now, I'm speaking to you from a perspective of someone who understands the stocks, and I've had a chance to go in the boardroom to invest in stock with corporations that allowed us to be in the boardroom when we made our investment. So I'm quite familiar with how to make investments and how to pick and choose if you want to be aggressive in your investment or conservative. But it's very vital that we should learn this. This is how the rich get richer. You cannot get rich off of an 8-to-5 job without having streams of income. And this whole life policies is the way to go, baby, if you're looking for a stream of income. Now, you don't want to miss our next session. We'll either be on YouTube channel or on Facebook. Hopefully, they'll be back up and running. But I do want to talk to you in depth about this and have our guests to come on to give you more detail so some of you can sign up and turn things around for you before Christmas. And you don't have to spend all that money on Christmas this year. Vow a vow and keep it. It's better to keep a vow than to break it. And invest some of your return from your IRS return into a whole life policy and bless yourself, because it's going to bless you twofold. It's going to double your money for you, and it's going to show you the real way of saving so that you don't ever have to want for anything, and you don't ever have to be upset for being turned down for a loan. Borrow from yourself, but make sure you vow a vow to pay it back to keep your money running smoothly so you are never depleted of money. Money doesn't have to be a problem for you. And money can be something that you are a steward over. And when you're a steward over your money, you invest it wisely. And that way, when you are ready for the money and need the money, it will be there for you. But you cannot keep purchasing these large items and putting them on credit. We must get out of this credit racket. We must pay our credit cards down to a minimum so that we don't go overboard and max out our credit. We should have a goal to go to a 700 credit score. Yes, I know you're fighting with some of these creditors. Then use that package. Go online and get the dispute package so you can dispute anything on your credit line from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experience. Send each one of them a letter to indicate to them that you want to challenge and dispute certain things on your credit report. And remember I said, such as old addresses that equates and connects you to something negative during the time you had that address. And if you're no longer using that address and have a new one, you can request that that address be deleted from your credit report. Then look it over. Look over your credit report with a fine-tooth comb. Anything that is on there that's a write-off that you settled on. And if you think you want to have it paid in full to give you more points, then call those creditors and say, hey, I didn't pay this in full. I settled with you, but I'd like to pay the remaining balance off if you'll agree to write paid in full on my credit report. And at that particular point, you start the communication process with Equifax, Experience, and TransUnion, and you send the letters to them. They actually have forms if you want to dispute something. Now, I didn't talk to you for nothing the other day about your credit score and challenging your credit report. I talked to you so that you can get ready to make investments in your own banking and build your finances up this year. That is my goal, to build up my credit score this year and to increase my worth, my self-worth. And a lot of you who have retired like me know that your self-worth has been depreciated, and you have to do something to get your self-worth back up there. So if anyone in your family needs to make a withdrawal from the bank or need to borrow from you, you can be the banker. You can borrow and lend interest on money to your family as long as they know they have to pay it back. Now, I said all that to say that today there was a major technical thing going on. I lost the volume on my YouTube channel, and the gentleman could only type who was my guest and was not able to come on the screen. I have to get a better handle of how things are worked out on the YouTube channel, but nevertheless, Facebook was nevertheless doing the same thing. It would not allow me to come on live. So, but that's a story for another time. But we're still talking about how to make money. And I'm getting serious about this. If I can see other people take out policies that are duplicating and working hard for them, by golly, we want our money to work hard for us too. And we can't be stupid all of our lives. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what to do with this money. I'll just buy something. Always think that you could invest, but you got to make the right investment so you don't lose your cash, because your cash money comes hard. But it comes to you hard through working. You don't want to just throw your money away buying every witchamajigger you could think of. But the main thing is you want to be a banker. You want to own your own bank. And if it's possible for you to communicate with your loved ones and you have that kind of understanding, call a meeting. Call a meeting and say, hey, we're getting ready to start a bank. Now, you can have your very own bank if you don't trust us, but I want you to come and listen to the speaker and learn how it works. Once they learn how it works, they see they're going to be making so much money that they don't want to double cross you, or they don't want to evade you. They want to match your money up for tit for tat so that your money can grow more rapidly. We have to learn to start trusting one another and to believe in us that we can do a better job as African American families. As I looked over the Egyptians and their way of life and their lifestyle, they were not wanting for anything. They were top of the class at everything. They were the first to have toilet seats inside of their mansions. They were the first to experience certain foods. And they were the first to build kingdoms that last for many, many years. And every time we look at the hood, we tend to think that by design, somebody designed it for our communities to fall apart. If we have the monies to borrow from ourselves, then we can correct our own problems in our community. We can refurbish those homes that need to be repaired. We can take and mow down those homes that need to come down that are boarded up. Well, we certainly can take an interest and an investment in our communities and in our financial status. If we did it before, when we started putting money in the bank and build money up, then we can do it again. Now, that was not our fault when they came in and stole our investments and made poor investments with the church's money. We can't let that happen again. We can't keep running to the bank, putting all of our money in the bank, thinking they're going to take care of our money safely. The same thing could happen again at a bank. That's why it's wise to open up your own bank and look at how you and your family could reestablish yourselves with your very own banks. That's right. It can happen for you. It is not a cliche. It is not a mystery. It is happening for young people all over the world now. This new process has caught on to many well-to-do people as well as middle class and those poor people that are under the bridge. Some of them even know about these processes. So why isn't the African American talking about investing in whole life structure plans? Why aren't they giving the 411 and the 911 in the hood? Why are we the last to hear about everything? There's a lot going on out there that we don't even know about. It's a lot going on that will make a whole new world. Trust me, they're getting ready to put some stuff up on us right now that is not just for the black folk, it's for all folk. Because the United States have decided that there are too many people on this earth. And you better believe it, you're going to hear some very weird things on this YouTube system before they take them down about what is happening and what is currently happening. But we cannot be eating out of cans, laying up under the bridge. Oh no, that is not our fate. We cannot be pushing shopping carts and living out of buggies. That is not our fate. Our fate is to be abundantly rich in all that we do and all our finances. But that can happen if you are not like the little ant and start building in advance. I decree that if you build in advance and plan for the hard times and plan to have a quality of life, then you will. It's those that don't lay up goods for the future and put their riches where moths can get to them. Those people, you can anticipate that they're going to be struggling. But those that are hard workers and that are saving from their checks every month, at least 20% putting it aside, we know now that the ticket is not the 401k, because they're doing everything they can to depreciate the 401ks and to steal our pensions. That's right, teachers, to steal our pensions by any means necessary. But I decree that if anything has been stolen from me, it will be given back in double folds. And you should decree a thing. You should decree a thing on a daily basis about your finances, because we were born here rich, believe it or not. Even our birth certificates had dollar bills attached to it and our Social Security card. So why are we so doggone poor now? Why are we lacking in anything? We cannot sub anything. We cannot get beneath anything. We are the original people who's supposed to get over the grain house and subdue a thing. We were brought here to subdue a thing. So why are we still just finding out at the 1300 hour that there are plenty of ways to lay your riches up so that moth won't get to them? Well, I want to say for the record, there's a few people that are now telling the truth and nothing but the whole truth about how our Caucasian people gain their wealth. They are now ready to share it with anyone who will listen, if you just keep your ears on long enough. But you don't have to sit here and wonder how you're going to make it from week to week. Because you can take that money and double it and make it work for you. Those of you on Social Security and on pension, take a little bit of that pension money and put it away every month in an investment plan like a whole life and watch it grow for you. And at the end of the year, get your dividends, because you are now the owner of a bank. You are now connected to an organization that allowed you to have membership in their organization. So your dividends are yours, given to you like stocks and bonds. But you have to get an understanding of how this works. You cannot any longer remain ignorant to the fact. You must make an effort to learn more so you can vow a vow to do more. But we cannot continue to go into the 21st century as poor people, as people that are barely making it, living hand to mouth. We have to get over the grain house. We're going to be managers. We're going to rule over these things, so we must know how to handle large sums of money. We have to, because we're going to be the next rulers. And if you are not a good steward over this money that is going to bequeath you, as sure as heck, you're going to mess up the church's money. But you don't want to mess up the church's money this time. You want to get over the grain house. You want to be a part of this new system. You don't want to be on the outside looking in. You want to be running things. Now, we may have lost our banks and they were shut down because of ill investment, but never, never again will that happen to us as a black people. We will get over the grain house, and this time we will manage the church's money a lot better. Thank you so very much. You've been listening to Maddie Harvey's Baby Sister, and I'd like to greet you farewell. And do follow this channel. This is Omi's Production Studio. Please do follow, and at the bottom, subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe down there at the bottom. Just click subscribe, become a follower. not just a friend. I want you to become a follower and follow the leader. We're about to get into some things, and I'll ask you, would you please join us in following the leader? Oh, double and Baba Booey to y'all. Thank you so very much for joining me today.